In today's episode, Jesse and I are taking you to shop some of the best flea markets in Berlin, Germany. And we will also be checking out a famous street in Berlin known as Antique Mile. And the reason why is it is supposed to be filled with dozens of antique shops. We invite you to spend the next few days with us in Berlin hunting for valuable antique treasures. And make sure you stay tuned for the full haul at the end of the video, because boy did we score.
Antiques there, antiques there, antiques there.
We are kicking off today's episode taking you to some of Berlin's best flea markets across the city. We discovered these amazing flea markets in Berlin last year, and today we are scouting out the best markets to bring a group of you to very soon. The markets here have a very eclectic mix of European antiques and fabulous mid-century home decor. You can find everything from Czech glass to designer Scandinavian MCM and beautiful hand-painted folk art. It's currently December, and we have been told that the markets are much larger in the spring and summer months.
That's awesome.
I love that we're on the exact same page with all of this.
Here's what I would tell you. For
glass.
That thing would be coming home.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know the price yet. So
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be. But isn't it amazing? Now we got to find out who made it. This travertine table is amazing. It's in the shape of a flower.
Used to make a hole in some furniture like this and put down, and the children from
That's so cool.
they
And then his wings flap.
Okay, Berlin, flea market culture. Hot take, just as good as Paris.
Ooh.
Hot take,
I like it. I like your take.
right?
We haven't been here in spring or fall yet, so I feel like
No.
we got to come back. I just got to learn such a cool history behind this piece, so I'll tell you about it when we get home. Look at all the boxes. They're everywhere, full of stuff. Who's coming to Berlin with me? Who's coming? I've never seen antique brass hangers, but now I must own one. I think I spot something good over here. What is this teak beauty?
This teak item had me completely stumped, but I Google imaged it, and I think it originally might have had some serving trays on it. So it would have been some type of a layered tray. Let me know if you've ever seen something like this before. Digging through boxes of quality vintage ranks on my absolute favorite things to do in the world. You really never know what you're going to find, and that's truly the thrill of the hunt. What amazes me about the Berlin markets is the quality in the boxes. These aren't just filled with garbage, they're filled with vintage porcelain and wonderful West German produced ceramics. Pro tip though, you do have to take a close look at the items because sadly some of them do get chipped. We are continuing our travels across Europe for another 3 weeks, hosting 2 back-to-back group trips. So we are having to be very selective in our purchases. We are running around this city today, scouting out these places so we know exactly where we want to bring you to. But I cannot wait to come back here with a group of you in the spring or summer, shopping these flea markets and having all of us fill all of our luggage up.
We just checked into our hotel here in Berlin for the group trip, and we're gonna go out and do some scouting today.
We're headed to the Antique Mile, which is just a quick, well, maybe it's not quick. It's 40 minutes on the underground, the U-Bahn here.
We wanna scout it out before we take the group there so that we know how good the stuff's gonna be. But here's the challenge. We cannot shop because I'm not gonna pre-pick it.
I won't have that problem. You're gonna be able to do this? You sure?
Yes, I'm not gonna buy a single thing today. It's not
What
gonna happen.
asterisks, unless you find what?
Okay, I will not buy a Potosi.
No.
The only exception is gonna be a Lisa Larson, a lion specifically. Everything goes out the window as soon as I see a Lisa Larson. All right, well, we are gonna take you with us on this adventure. We're gonna go scout out the Antique Mile in Berlin.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get on this station, go here,
Follow the purple.
get off here, get on another train, follow the red all the way out here.
Is that red line the same line?
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
goes far out.
It's only one change.
Awesome. All
Yeah.
right, let's do it. You got to see how cute their little street signs are.
Their little walk, don't walk guys. I know, they're cool.
Look how cute they are. Step one, we made it. Follow the red, you too. It's easy to remember because of the band. Jesse was very excited because our stop he can pronounce. Listen to this.
Sophie Charlotte Platz. I didn't say that right. I'm gonna get roasted for that one.
But this is the closest stop to this street, which I believe is where we are going for the Antique Mile. That was pretty easy, huh?
That was super easy. So I know riding metro systems or public transportation in other cities can seem scary, but if you have Google Maps, it's pretty easy. And if you've ridden one subway system, they're all kind of the same. You just need to know the different lines and how to transfer. There's only about 10 euros for each of us because we have day passes. So we have 24-hour passes for each of us, and they're about 10 euros a piece. So pretty simple.
Just kidding. This is the street we're going to for the Antique Mile. They all sound so similar.
Yeah.
All right, so we just popped out of the subway and I already see signs that say antiques over here. Look at that. So apparently there are dozens of antique stores on this street. This is just a hair salon, but it's pretty interesting. Do some window shopping since I can't buy anything except for a Lisa Larson lion. Look at that guy, he's only 15 euro. That's a really good price for one that big. Our first stop was good. I didn't buy anything, even though there was something I've been looking for a long time. There was a burl wood picture frame, a solid wood burl wood picture frame, but I didn't even ask how much it is.
Way to resist, Laura.
I'm so
Way
proud
to
of
resist.
myself. So we've got some antique stores all along here. We're gonna go to a couple other stops. She said they are open on Thursday when we're coming back with the group in 2 days. So we're just gonna ask each shop owner, are you open on Thursday?
I think there's several that are closed right now though that are just waiting to open. We heard that you come here in the afternoon. These shops are kind of late to open. It's only like 1 o'clock right now, so we might not be late enough to hit some of these today.
This looks like a good one. This one is unfortunately not open right now, but we'll walk back by this on our way out just in case. He's doing Google Translate right now. I can see why this is the antique mile though. Across the street, we've got antiques there, antiques there, antiques there, gallery there. And we have an antique shop that is open and apparently they're having a sale too. Is it a banana?
She doesn't look, that's like, she doesn't want to eat.
I think it's a
whatever's
double dog
happening.
dare.
Yeah, she got dared.
There's
to
even
eat
a
that.
dog there, definitely. I could fill that wardrobe up. It's giant. That's incredible. All right, second shop we went into, she also is gonna be open on Thursday. Super sweet, minimal English, but it was really fun. We just used Google Translate and we told her we're bringing back a bunch of people in a couple days. This is what I'm talking about. Antique shopping and coffee and snacks. I can't pronounce any of them, but I bet they're good.
That looks like it came from Ariel and the Little Mermaid.
It kind of does.
With
This side.
seashell side.
Yes, they look like mussels. That's incredible. That cat is hilarious. It's huge.
What?
I don't know.
I feel like something's supposed to come out of its mouth, like smoke.
I don't know. Everyone's gonna be fighting over these. €85. Oh, that's amazing. I'll give everybody 30 minutes in the store, and if nobody buys it, I'm getting it. Stay right there. I'll be back on Thursday.
We can be cinematic. Look how cinematic this is.
We're in cinematic mode
Yeah.
on accident.
Wow.
We're just gonna keep it going. So that was amazing. I'm very excited to come back with everybody on Thursday. There's so much selection and variety here.
I'm excited to see what people are going to get Thursday.
I know.
We spotted out some of our favorites and we'll have to fight people for them, I think.
And I'm not a bad person. I didn't buy a single thing.
No, that doesn't mean you're not a bad.
Yeah, right, whatever. I'm a really good person. I am really hopeful that the bull is gonna still be there because I love that, but I'm gonna give everybody a head start and see if anybody snags it. I need to do some research on it because I actually don't know the artist. What did it say? It said it was made in Holland, right?
Holland, yeah.
So we'll look into that, make sure that's a good price for it. And yeah, we're gonna be back here on Thursday, which is in about like 3 seconds for you. Okay, so we kind of failed today. We just realized it's almost 4:30 p.m. and we have not filmed pretty much any of our adventures today.
Yeah.
The good thing is we've been having so much fun with the travelers that we just, time slipped away. Right. But we're back here on Antique Mile.
It's the next day.
I got it, and I didn't have to cheat and become a bad person, but I got the beautiful bowl. So we are just wrapping up here on Antique Mile, and everyone's been shopping for the last, hour and a half, and we're getting ready to head back to the hotel. And I was like, we gotta go in and get the bowl. And it was still there.
I actually walked into the room before you did, and I took a look, and I for a second thought it was gone.
Oh, really?
I was like, oh my gosh, it's gone. But it was just kind of down a little bit lower, but it was still there.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be super bummed.
I wouldn't have been bummed if anybody in the group got it. Honestly, I would have been really happy for them. I think it would have been funny for them to have watched the video back and to know that they got the one thing that I was really looking forward to.
Yeah.
But I would have been super happy for them, because that's why we bring people here, is we want them to find treasures. So
Yeah.
we've been having a really fun day. We went and got to see Berlin from the top of a museum. It's €3 to take an elevator all the way to the top, and you get a beautiful view of the city.
We saw the Holocaust Memorial.
It's a very, very powerful experience.
Yeah, we got to walk around the city. We went to the Museum Island area, which we were at earlier to see the Nefertiti's bust, but this time we went up on the terrace. We did some Christmas marketing.
Yeah, we're gonna do more Christmas marketing.
Yeah, we had some goulash. I know that was very exciting for you, Laura.
That was very exciting. It was my first goulash this year. I'm very happy. I think as I was eating it, I told him, I said, I think I need to live up north where it's dark 24 hours a day during parts of the year, and I can have goulash and warm bread every single day. I would be so happy.
I would not be happy, probably. Up north in the cold, in the freezing all the time. I can handle the cold for a while.
Oh, my arm's starting to shake. Sorry if this video footage is getting very shaky. Apparently I need to lift weights more because I can only hold this phone for so long.
All right, well then maybe we should head out.
Yeah, let's go to the Christmas markets.
All right.
We'd like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
As many of you know, I have been selling on my own Squarespace website for over 9 years now, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Launching my own vintage shop on my own website was the best decision I ever made for Left Coast Revivals. Squarespace gives you everything to sell anything. You can go from your big ideas to a published site quickly with beautifully designed templates. They make e-commerce easy with everything you need to power your online store. Whether you're selling vintage like me, or you're wanting to launch that blog that you have been dreaming of doing for years, or whether you are in the travel industry and you are hosting group trips, Squarespace makes it so easy for you to build out your website and start building your brand. One of my favorite things to do is to add a new page to my website, so I'm always thinking about what else would be a useful tool for my followers. What do they want out of a website from me, and how can I stay in touch with them? There are endless beautiful templates to get you started and make it so easy. And then you can build off of those templates to customize it to fit your brand and to fit your products. There is no reason not to give it a shot. You can start your free trial today at squarespace.com.
Head to squarespace.com to start your free trial today. When you're ready to launch your own website, head to squarespace.com/leftcoast to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
We are back home now, just in time to celebrate the holidays with our family. Sorry, I lost my voice. We've been having way too much fun on our adventures. But this trip to Berlin was unbelievable. So you're gonna get to see so many more adventures on this trip. We were actually gone for almost 3.5 weeks. We went to Berlin, Seifen, Dresden, Karlovy Vary, Prague, Munich, Salzburg, Vienna, and then we ended our trip on a very special adventure in Budapest, Hungary, which we cannot cannot wait to share those adventures with you. But today's episode is all about Berlin and the vintage things that we found there. And everything except for one made it home perfectly safe and sound in our luggage. Sadly, this little snowman smoker lost his carrot nose. But out of everything that could have broken on this trip, the carrot nose is the best thing because all it's going to take is a little dab of wood glue and I'll pop that carrot nose right back on the snowman. As you could see in this episode, Jesse and I really love Berlin. It's one of our favorite cities in Europe. And although we didn't end up buying a lot of things, this trip was really special for us because we got to show Berlin to 20 of our travelers on the group trip. So you're gonna see a lot more adventures to come. But we had a really wonderful time scouting out things for a future group trip that we are planning. And then also getting to take our travelers around the city to Antique Mile, to a couple of our favorite vintage stores, and of course, all of the Christmas markets. And we got to learn and share some of the history with our travelers on the city walking tour. So even though Berlin was not intended to be much of a shopping trip, we did find some really incredible pieces. Some of these are for ourselves and some of them are going to be coming to our online shop. These are probably one of our favorite finds that we picked up in Berlin. We both really loved the leaf design on them, and they kind of have a little bit of that mid-century brutalist feel without being completely brutalist and abstract. In fact, they actually have a very similar pattern to some Scandinavian folk art items that we have in our personal collection. So they're going to go great with our style. They are very heavy cast bronze. They're not signed. There's no markings or stamps anywhere on them. But when I started digging around online, I did find a German artist that made candle holders very, very similar to this. I could not find this exact pair, but this designer from the 1960s did a lot of bronze candlesticks that had leaf designs very similar to this. I'm pretty sure that that's who this artist is, but I'm not positive. If you happen to have any information on these beauties, please let me know. Aren't you proud of me for not buying this the first go around? I was very excited though that it was still there because it's something that I've never seen before, but it also looks so similar to a lot of the things that I collect, like the Aldo Landi Batosi bowl and a lot of the Lisa Larson figurines. So I think this is gonna go wonderful with our collection of pottery. What I really like about it is that it has a little bit of a cubist design to it, and it's very simple, and of course, it's in my favorite color, blue. So the tag said that it was Gemma Holland. Now, I don't know if that was made in Holland and the artist is Gemma. I did quickly do a Google image search and I saw another one listed, and it looks like on that thread, some people were saying that they've seen this listed before as West German Bay Ceramics. So I've got to do some more digging online, but I will let you know if I'm able to confirm exactly who made this. Even though this was only day 2 of a 3.5-week long trip, of course I bought brass. It's just something that I can't help myself. I try so hard not to, and then I see these things and they're so beautiful and they're so affordable, and I just have to get them. But I'm very glad that I did. And this one I'm actually going to be selling, so you can keep an eye out for this in our upcoming First Friday sale. I found an almost identical one to this listed for $120 online, and I got this one for a steal. And from that same vendor, I also got this cute little brass ashtray. Has a very mid-century design on it. And then I ended up going back to that same dealer and I bought more brass, and he was laughing at me because we told him we were traveling and we had to take it in our luggage. And he was like, "Why are you buying brass then?" And I was like, "It's a great question, sir. That's a very great question. These twisted brass rings are for curtain rods, but you know what? I picked them up to use them as napkin rings. It's hard for me to find this many matching napkin rings, and I love the simplicity of them, and I think they're the perfect size. I haven't tested it yet, but I really do think they're gonna work just fine. I always like thinking outside the box. They might be curtain rings, but there's no reason that you can't turn them into napkin rings. Have you ever seen more gorgeous brass coat hangers? I picked these up for photography for when I'm photographing clothing for my website. I just thought it would be so pretty to have the clothing items hanging from a beautiful brass coat hanger. I'm so excited I found those. I'd never seen those before. This was such a good find. This is a glass Itala bird from the 1960s, and it might not look like it, but this bird is worth $250, and I only paid €5. These are the reasons that I love European flea markets. Now, I'm not saying you can't find this stuff for this price in US flea markets, but a lot of the items that I'm really into and I'm drawn to are made in Europe, and so it's a lot more prevalent to find them in Europe for a really good deal. Very excited about this little cutie. He signs on the bottom, and he made it home without his beak or tail breaking. Actually wrapped him up in a sock. Pro tip, use your dirty laundry when you're traveling as extra packing material. It actually wasn't a dirty sock. It was a brand new sock. I'll show you. No, I didn't buy these for my 10-year-old niece. I bought these for myself. Aren't they absolutely beyond adorable? These are hand-knitted socks. I got these at one of the Christmas markets. I just thought they were so cute. And Jesse was like, yes, you have to do it. So I'm gonna wear these on Christmas. These are my new Christmas socks. But I did get some really cute things for my nieces at the Christmas markets. Look at these. Finger puppets. Aren't these absolutely adorable? This one's a sloth. How funny. So I got these from a little handmade vendor. One of my brothers has 3 young children and he has a new little baby boy. So I'm gonna give the sloth to the baby boy and then these two to my little nieces. I just think finger puppets are so cute and they're hand felted. I got 3 of these adorable little shaved trees at the flea market. I always pick these up if they are not broken. They do break very easily, so you have to be very careful when you are transporting them. I always make sure that I have a nice firm box to put things like this in when I travel. So in this case, I had a box that was about this big and it's just nice and sturdy. And as long as you have that in hard luggage so it can't get crunched, those items will be safe. Last year, because I didn't come prepared with a box and I found a larger one of these, I ended up actually putting it inside a toilet paper roll and that protected it and it made it home safe and sound. I found a few of these last year at the Christmas markets and so I've started collecting them now. And what's crazy is that I knew we were going to Seifen, Germany, but I actually had no idea that that is where these Christmas trees are made and they're from. In fact, they even have some of these little shaved Christmas trees on their street signs throughout the town. We took the group there after we left Dresden and I was even able to go inside one of the shops and actually watch a gentleman making the trees right there. It was a really cool experience and it really makes you appreciate these handmade items when you see the artisans actually there physically making these things. Veb Orange is one of my favorite vintage stores in Berlin. If you live in Berlin or you go to Berlin, you have to go check it out. I had followed them on Instagram, I think for years before I visited there the first time. And I found some really wonderful things there last year. Let me show you the footage of what I found last year.
Found a little smoking snowman, a beautiful lidded bowl, and one of the little Christmas trees that I was on the hunt for.
This is what I picked up there this year. I believe this is actually a personal ashtray set. So you would have these on a table and then you could pass out little ashtrays to all of your guests. They are so pretty though, and I think that they could be used for a lot more than ashtrays. And so what I'm thinking I'm going to use them for is actually little bases to put candles on. Sometimes I will put little single bud flower vases in my kitchen windowsill, and I don't want any water to get onto the windowsill. So it's nice to have something underneath to catch any water that comes through the vase or drips. There are so many uses for things like this, and I just thought it was really neat that they came all stacked up and with a little holder. And of course it could be used as ashtrays too. So I always go through these little phases where I get excited about something I've never seen before, or I don't know, I just get on a little kick. Do any of you do that? You just kind of get on a little kick and all of a sudden you're like, you spot things everywhere you go. Well, my current kick right now is candle snuffers. Bet you didn't see that one coming. It's actually a very recent kick that I'm on, and it all started when I got this one off of eBay for Thanksgiving to have at my table setting. And I just was looking for something unique and beautiful, and I found this magnificent beauty on eBay. I found this one in Berlin, and it's really interesting because at first I had no idea what it was. I actually had to look it up to figure out that it was a candle snuffer. It's an antique and it looks like a little pair of scissors, but it has this little section that opens. You go like this, snuff the candle, voila. So I do have a third one, so technically I'm a collector. So this is my new thing. Apparently I'm into candle snuffers now. When I went back to get this beautiful ceramic bowl, I also spotted this necklace that I didn't see the first time that we were in the store. It's a stunning paneled Egyptian revival enamel necklace, and it is actually signed on the back. I did a little bit of research, and I think that it's the artist's signature along with the jewelry company that they collaborated with, and I believe that this is from the 1920s, 1930s, during that kind of Art Deco Egyptian revival era. I love Egyptian everything, and I especially love necklaces that sit on your collarbones, collar necklaces like this. This was another really great find. It is a handmade Moroccan bag. It's made out of leather and it's got this beautiful ornate design and stitching on it. These typically sell online for anywhere between $100 and $300. So if you come across one of these and it's in really good shape, I would recommend picking it up. They sell really well. I find them from time to time, but this one had an especially beautiful design on it. And the most important part, it's in really good condition, because when people buy a secondhand purse, they really want something that's going to hold up well and be functional. So I always try to make sure that the purses that I pick up to resell are in very good condition. So we got home last night, actually around midnight, and I'm very jet lagged, but story of my life. I can't complain, I'm not complaining. I'm happy to be jet lagged right now. But unfortunately, we came home to kind of an issue here at our house. So I don't know if you've seen on the news, but there was a lot of flooding in the Pacific Northwest recently. And we weren't really worried about the flooding. We didn't think we'd be affected by it because even our city didn't actually flood. However, our basement did. There was so much rain and our roof line is so steep that it was just overflowing from our gutter system. And it ended up pooling in our basement windows and it leaked through the windows onto the floors. And it kind of destroyed our 1962 original parquet wood flooring. So we're pretty devastated. The reason I'm telling you is because we've been dealing with that today and trying to figure out what to do, trying to assess the extent of the damage. And unfortunately, that means that I don't get to decorate for Christmas. So I'm very, very sad about it because I was really looking forward to that. Not coming home to some extensive water damage. That's okay, because it could have been worse, and we are just grateful. We had family staying here the whole time, so the cats were safe and they were able to kind of get ahead of it, so it wasn't worse than it could have been. But unfortunately, that means that I am not going to have a Christmas decorating video like I had hoped and planned. So unfortunately, this and some of the Christmas items are going to get put away until next year. But next year is going to be really good because I'm going to go all out and make up for this year. I got this for only €3, by the way. But when I found this at the flea market, I immediately was like, oh, I wish I could take that home, but I'm not going to be able to because of the arms. But check it. They fold up and it was no problem at all. I was able to fold it up, put it in the luggage, and it made it home safe and sound. But unfortunately, the home wasn't safe and sound, so now I have to wait till next year to actually decorate with this. We are just honestly so grateful that everything is okay and everyone in our area is okay, because I know that wasn't the case everywhere. So our hearts go out to everybody who was dealing with the flooding. It's very scary when that kind of stuff happens in your backyard. Hopefully we are going to be able to salvage the parquet flooring and restore it. We do have some leftover pieces that the original owner left in our garage, so we might be able to just replace some of them. But right now it's not really looking that good. Things have dried out a little bit since the video clip I showed you, and it's not looking very good. We will keep you posted on how everything goes with that and what we're able to do. Bottom line, it's going to get fixed whether it has to be replaced or not, and that just means that I'll need to do an updated decorating video and redo that space. So stay tuned for that and we will keep you posted. I did not thrift this. This amazing antique tramp art frame was a gift from one of our new friends in Berlin. Thank you so much to Nora and her husband for taking us around and showing us your favorite flea market and for this incredible gift. It is so fun for us to have friends around the world. I can't even express how much joy that gives me to go to a city and be able to meet up with someone local that I instantly have a connection with because we have so much in common. It was really fun to get to meet Nora and her husband and to hear a little bit about the vintage culture in Berlin, because it's one thing to go as a traveler and you're kind of just getting a glimpse of a city. You know, you're really just a guest there for a few days. And when we get the opportunity to go and meet up with a local, I feel like you get a much more authentic experience and you get to ask questions and just learn a lot more about what the thrift and vintage culture is like in those cities. It was an absolute delight to get to meet them. Nora is a reseller and you can follow her on Instagram here and keep an eye out for what she finds in the Berlin flea markets. I did get a second frame. This one I did purchase, and I really loved the shape on this. This is an early 1900s picture frame, and I'm going to be using this along with the tramp art frame in the gallery wall that I am about to get working on after the holidays are over. I only need a few more items to complete that space, and I'm very excited to add these to it and then share the final look with you here very soon. Here's a little sneak peek of a few of the items that I'm about to add in to what I've already got going. Can't wait to show you the whole gallery wall. It's going to be very eclectic and very me.
Just got to learn such a cool history behind this piece, so I'll tell you about it when we get home.
I might have saved my favorite item for last. This magnificent pedestal hammered brass 1960s bowl is by Frederick Marby, a Bauhaus designer from the 1960s. So this vendor had incredible stuff. They had Bitosis, amazing light fixtures, just top-notch items. So I was worried that it was going to be completely out of my price range. But the gentleman was so sweet, and I think he could tell how much I loved it, and he sold me this for only €50. These sell online for several €100, and some of his more rare designs can sell for thousands. So I feel absolutely honored to own one of his pieces. It's going to be a very special one here in our house. And one of my other favorite finds are these brass earrings. I already mentioned how much I love Egyptian revival, but sometimes it feels like you're wearing something that looks like it could have been part of a costume. Maybe it's a little bit too much. I like to have things that are a little bit more subtle sometimes. They're currently screwbacks, but I'm gonna go ahead and take those off and make them dangle earrings, and I think those are gonna be just beautiful. I'm not gonna polish them up though because I love that natural old patina. And then I also got a few more jewelry items down here to show you. I feel like Berlin is such an underrated place for the vintage and antique scene. This was just the very tip of the iceberg of what is there in Berlin. Because honestly, this trip was not a sourcing trip. We were hosting the group trips at the Christmas markets, along with doing some scouting for a future group trip that we are planning there that's not gonna be during Christmas time. It's gonna be more during their proper flea market season. With that said, I'm still so thrilled about all of the things that we found in Berlin, and even more so with the memories that we made. We had the most wonderful time with our group there. So we are in the thick of planning our future group trips. We are already planning out 2027 and 2028. All of our 2026 group trips sold out in under a minute, which is absolutely insane. We are beyond grateful for this community, or at least all of the group trips that we originally planned on hosting in 2026. We might just be sneaking in one more international group trip in 2026. It will be a winter trip. I'll just leave you with this. If you want to go somewhere where there is definitely going to be snow next winter, you might want to be subscribed to our free newsletter, because that is where we are going to announce our final trip for 2026 here very soon. You can subscribe to our newsletter at leftcoastrevivals.com/newsletter. It's a free newsletter and we won't be spamming you. You're only going to get 1 or 2 emails a month. That is going to be the first place that you're going to find out about all the details for our upcoming group trip. We still have so much more to share on our adventures in Europe for the Christmas markets. Jesse's taking care of the basement flooding issues right now, and I'm gonna get working on our next videos. We hope you have a wonderful holiday with your families, and we're gonna see you here very soon with another episode. We left you hanging while we were on that trip, but I promise we've got some great content coming at you. Thank you for exploring Berlin with us today, and we will see you in a brand new episode very soon.